Hi, hello YouTube. It's a bait line, stretch line bait and tackle. Bringing you a kayaker's view of lakes that I fish and the points and things that I found. And today I'm doing Squaw Creek Reservoir, a nuclear power plant that is available from October through April by reservation only. So you will need to go online and make a reservation, as they only allow 150 boats at a time on the lake. And as you can see here, you got the nuclear power plant here. It's a 3,700 acre lake. It's not a giant lake. It's not a small lake. It's a fairly deep lake, and the water's always warm. And it's a really good fishery. So we're going to start off like there's only one boat ramp here, and this is your ramp right here. You have 5 ramps here that you would come in this way right here, and there's 5 ramps here, and there's a floating dock here and a floating dock here, and restrooms right here. And up here is all parking. There's parking here and here. Now, when you come in, there will be a line. On some days, I went opening day, there was 150 boats allowed. There was 150 boats there. I was about middle of the pack. It took about 35, 40 minutes to actually load my boat. It goes pretty quick because most people are courteous and they don't linger at the loading dock. They pretty much unload and go. They're most people I noticed were really, really courteous, and so that's a good thing. Now, they do allow bank fishing here, which is all along this area right here. This area right in here is all bank fishing, and you will see a lot of people even out in boats catfishing and tilapia fishing. You'll see them out in the netting tilapia. Now, when you come in and you launch your boat right here, directly across, starting about in this area right here, and you probably can't see from this image too well. See if I can go back a little bit, get a clearer view. Here we go. Now, this is timber. And one thing I've noticed about this lake is I went back with the timeline in Google to try to find. Sometimes you can go back and you can find times that where there was a drought and see structure and stuff under the water. The the level of this lake doesn't fluctuate much. I'm going to say plus or minus 2 feet, and that's mainly because it's a nuclear power plant. So I guess during the summer months or during drought months, they just don't release any water at all. They keep it all captive, which is a good thing for the fishery. So, but anyway, so you come off the boat ramp right here, directly across here. This is doesn't show all the timber here, but this whole area here is timber, and even running back through here, running all the way back through there is timber. Now, when you get further back here, you may not be able to see it on this one here. If I can get a clear image here. Yeah, here we go. Now you can start to see these circles here, all these circles here. And there's some images that are much clearer. When you go back and you go back on your timeline on Google Earth, and you can find a time when it's clearest, those are tilapia beds. I'm back to 2008, and the images really degrade about then. So, but as you can see, the water level doesn't fluctuate much. I mean, we're just, yeah, I'm not going to be able to see it. But anyway, there's tilapia beds all through here, standing timber along here. And this is the first point when you come in from the ramp. Now, like I say, this would be all bank fishermen right here. And so I usually avoid that area. And I usually save this area for last. A lot of times I'll come in, I'll launch my kayak, and I'll come straight to this point right here. I'll hit this first point right here. And I like to come in right here. And I have timber here, and then there's timber and reed beds all along here, along with, you can see the timber coming out here. So, I mean, this is good structure right here because this water is right up next to the bank is 2 to 4 feet, but it drops off really quick. So I know for a fact, like this point right here, this is a hump that stretches out this way right here with timber on it. It's about 9 feet deep, but on this each side of that hump is 19 to 20 feet, and that's a really good bass ambush spot right there. So you can your water you'll be in 2 feet of water, and the next thing you know, you're in 6, 10, 12, 24 feet. It's pretty deep lake. It drops off. It's real hilly. So I fished this whole cove right here. I worked my way along here. I did real good off this point right here. I caught another one right here at this little cove right here. There's some tanning timber, and then there's some reeds and vegetation along the shore. There's a reed bed here. I caught another one, and also right along and through here. Now, this right here, this is going to be all tilapia beds here, and all tilapia beds here, and a few along the bank here. And a lot of people cast nets in this general area for tilapia. And this is a shaded bank in the morning up until about noon because the sun comes from this direction. This would be north. Your left side of your screen will be north, and this is south. So this area is shaded early in the morning. So if it's on a hot day, you can come along and work this. And I've caught several bass right here as well. Now you come around this point here. This bank right here is rocky. This is a rocky bank where it's about 3 or 4 feet and drops off to 10 to 15 real quickly. So and this isn't a bad place. Come off this point here, you have a little point coming off right here, and then working back up into this cove right here is the same thing. A lot of timber. There's a lot of submerged timber around here, and that's it where your graph comes in. You'll see some of it sticking up, and some of it you won't see till your kayak runs over it. But there is a lot of timber you can see right here. That might be waves right there, but on this bank. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a point right here this is flooded timber here and tilapia beds, and I caught a bass here as well. And you can see timber here. Here's a point right here. You can see it it's like a creek channel coming in here. You see the darker spot where that deeper water, and this is where that creek channel comes in. This is your shallows with your tilapia beds on each side, and coming in this channel right here. You've got a high point right here with this channel and these tilapia beds. Let me tell you, this is a good bass ambush spot right there. You can work this area right around here, this deeper water. The bass will love it right here because they can ambush these tilapia, and then they have access to the cooler water. Because as I say, this water is warm. The bass spawn in December on this lake, and if that tells you water temperature. And when I got on there on October 3rd, opening day of this year, water was 93 to 98 degrees. It's pretty hot. So uh, after a couple of cool fronts, when the water temperature starts dropping, the bass are active. I caught bass. They move a little sluggish. You need to slow your presentation down when the water's warm. And I didn't get much of a fight until they got next to the boat, and then the battle was on. It was almost like I caught them, and it was a dead weight. And then when they saw me, the battle was on. It's like they were saving their energy for that final bump. But anyways, so when we get a couple cool fronts, little cold fronts, and let the temperature come down, let the water temperature come down in the high 70s, and you get out here on a cold day, this is it's an awesome fishery. Now, you're not going to catch a lot of double digits. All right, there are double digits in there. This is some nice bait, the bass in here, but you'll catch 3 to 6 pounders all day long, and it's nothing to come out here and catch 25 to 30 bass in a day. You get on here and when there's a cold front, and you can tear them up. So, but mainly what I'm covering here is what you can reach from a kayak, and this is the first time I went out here. I came in this way. I fished this cove here. I worked around this point. I crossed over. I worked this point around here, and then I came back this way, and I worked back up in here, which is flooded timber down in here. There's a lot of standing timber. I didn't see many tilapia beds, but I did catch 2 bass in this area right here. It's a nice little area, a big submerged area right here. There's a couple creek channels. This channel comes in and winds around, and you'll find it on your graph with all this timber around it. So there's a good spot here when you get in this channel right here with this deeper water, and then 6 or 7 feet around here. All right, and then I fished on down around this point here and up into this cove, and that was pretty much it, because you have to be off the lake at I believe it's 3:30, all boats off the water. And since I was on a kayak and I'd already come this far, what I did is I came back and I worked this point again. I came off and hit this point, and then I came back down, and that's when I came and I worked this point, this slough right here, this bay right here, and I stopped at where I didn't come over to interrupt the bank fishermen. I let them have their deal, but I came around here, and then I ended my day. And so I covered this spot right here. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed a point right here. This is another spot right here. This is where you've got, when it's raining and stuff, you'll have this is like a creek channel, drainage channel, and it's deep. This is a deep place right here with a point here and a point here. A really good ambush bass spot right there. So, okay, and that's what I did on the first time I was out here, and so you can see. I don't know how I lost that. Granbury Lake's over here, so it's not far from Granbury Lake. So that was a day one kayak trip, and that started from I went from 8 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, and I covered all that right there. And I covered some good coverage. The second time I came out, and I immediately came over here to this side. I crossed the lake. Now when you're crossing in a kayak, this is roughly a mile right here, and you want to watch for bass boats, because these bass boats will move from the main part of the lake up here back to this. A lot of them will start over here in the morning, and then as the day warms up, they'll run back here to the shallows. And so this is a racetrack right here sometimes, with the boats going from point to point. So when you're in your kayak and crossing, be mindful of the traffic when you're crossing. Always make sure you have some sort of signal flag device, and just stay alert. It doesn't take long to cross there, and I say most people are very courteous out there. So, all right. So anyway, I came over here, and this is the same thing over here. Now this is interesting right here, because you have this high point here and a high point here, and this is submerged timber right here, and you got a deeper channel here and deeper. So you got a little high point here. This is from where this old road bed right here. There was an old road bed crossing right here, long before the lake was put in. So you have this road bed here with these two high points with deep water around it, and that's an excellent place to fish. And I came in, I hit this point here, and I worked around this point, and you have a creek channel coming in right here. There's a creek spot right here with a lot of flooded timber. So you have some deep water and timber. Coming on around this little point here, you got submerged timber all the way around. Tilapia beds in this little cove. And this is all when you got timber and deep water next to tilapia beds, good bass ambush spot. All right, come around this point here. I got timber and rocky shoreline all along here. And then this here is either a hole or a point. I believe during like heavy rains, this is like a creek channel. This is a higher point here and a little bit here, and this is your lower spot right here. And so you get a little bit of a inflow from water right here, and a little washout. So there's a little bit of hole right here. And of course, flooded timber all along here. You can work along this point here, and you've got timber. And what's nice is because you got the 3-4 foot water, and then 15, 20 feet out, you've got 15 feet water. So it's a nice drop off right there, and good ambush spot for bass. This point right here, we're working into this cove. This is another little drainage area here, but you have all this submerged channel, and it's a little shallower, and you'll have a lot of tilapia beds up in here. You get the right map. Let's see if I can find the right one here. I'm using a timeline here on Google Earth. Here we go. This might be a little better. But anyway, you can see these circles here. When you see a bunch of these circles on your Google Earth, and you can see how much timber is along through here. I mean, this is shallower here, so you really have to watch your water temperatures for that. But when it's spawning time in December, your bass are right up in here, and they're up in this cove right here. Now you can see all these circles here, all these circles right there. This is tilapia. Of course, this is a creek channel coming in. Creek channel coming in, submerged timber. See the deeper, darker water right here is a pretty good place to fish because you've got all these tilapia beds, all those circles. Those are your tilapia beds. You can just see there's just hundreds of them here. So the tilapia overrun this lake, and the bass feed on these tilapia. Except, well, the smaller ones. Tilapia are prodigious breeders. They're always breeding. And when I went out, I caught most of mine the first 2 times out there on bomber lures. Now, people use your normal bass rigs, chatterbaits, Texas rigs, craws, jigs. I mean, anything you would catch a bass with. But I had excellent luck on white bombers with silver backs, or a crankbait, a wider crankbait that has like some blues and silvers in it. That's more of a tilapia color. And so what I did is I presented a bait that was the color of the available forage for the bass. So, but anyway, this whole area right here, this is overloaded with tilapia here. This tilapia beds. Here's that point. You can see the old road bed here where it ran across. You can see where it comes across. And this is where it came before the lake filled. And it came across this way. And then the lake has, of course, filled it up. But anyway, this is a good little spot right there. The rise with the deeper timber along it. Now, you coming along this point here, you got more tilapia beds. You got timber and tilapia beds in this shallow area. And of course, along here too. Timber. All this is good bass habitat here. And it's creek channel. This is a great point right here. Whenever you see these creek channels, there's a little deeper water next to this timber and tilapia beds too, the bass are in there because they're ambushing the younger tilapia. This is going to be all beds here. You have 2 little creek channels here. You have one here and one here. And there's a little deeper hole here. And I don't remember covering that. But on my next trip next week, I'll make sure that I cover that and see if I can add anything to it. Of course, a creek channel here. This is a shallower bank here and a point here with a little bit of a rise with a drop off on each side. And that was a pretty decent little point too. So, and that's about as far as I covered on that second trip. And because I called it an early day, and then I hiked back, and I'm about 1.25 miles from this point to the boat ramps, about 1.25 miles. So you can come out here in a kayak. I have not fished the north end of the lake just due to I'm in a pedal kayak, so I limit mine into sections. I've done this section here. I did this section here, and I crossed over and I did this section here. And my next trip, depending on water temperature, if it's cooled off like it's supposed to, I'm probably going to come back and work this northern cove back here. And then later in the winter, I'm going to come back around, and I plan on working this area right in here, and I'll bring you some updates. So anyway, this is Squaw Creek Reservoir, Comanche Creek now they call it. Here's Comanche Creek. This is the nuclear power plant here. It's a power plant lake. So it's always warm. Middle of winter, the water's still 75 degrees, which is it's pretty nice. So you can be out there in a cold, blustery day, and you're sitting in a warm tub of water. And like I said, it's a good bass fishery. I mean, you can go out and catch 20, 30 bass. I mean, nice bass, 3, 4, 5 pounders. You get out there on a good day, and you'll catch 20 or 30 in that mid-range bass. And like I say, you're not going to catch giants like you will at some of your other Texas lakes, like Caddo and Fork and Amistad and Canyon. But this is a pretty good fishery. That's I don't know. I'm not going to say it's not well known, but it's kind of hidden because it's off the beaten path. You're out here between, this is Glen Rose right down here, and this is Granbury up here, and this is Lake Granbury, which is a whole nother deal. I'll do some fishing on that eventually too. So as you can see, you're kind of out away. This is your Dallas. This is Fort Worth here, and you're about 100 miles. I live on the north side of Fort Worth, and coming down here, it's about an hour and a half, hour and 45-minute drive. So, and I usually leave early in the morning, so I beat traffic. And there's only one entrance in, comes off 144 right here. You put it in Google, and it'll lead you straight to the road in. I believe it's right here. Trying to remember the name of it. I don't know if Google Earth wants to. That's Holly Court. Okay, that's not it. I'm sorry. I was about to mislead you. Here it is, right here. This is the road. It comes off 144. It says 213, but it's got a name too. It starts with a C. I'm wanting to think. Yeah, Coates Road, Coates. You're coming down. This is 144 here, coming from Granbury towards Glenrose. You would be heading south on Glenrose Highway 144, and at Coates Road, you take in and you make a right, and there's a sign there. Google Earth takes you straight to it, and you come right around here, and you'll come up to a guard shack where you have to have reservations. Here's your guard shack right here. This is your entrance here. And so you have to have reservations because they are going to check it. They're going to check your license plate number. They want to make sure you have a phone number on record because uh, in case there's an emergency, alarms will sound and they will call your phone in case there's an emergency at the plant. There's evacuation. I have not heard of that happening, but because it's a nuclear power plant, they do have those safety things in place. So, but anyway, so when you come in the gate here, if you're opening day, I was lined up. This was pretty much this whole road here, all the way to the ramp was a line of boats. And I'm going to say I was probably about halfway. And I'm sorry, let me correct myself. This is your entrance right here. This is your entrance off Coates Road. So, and then here's the road down. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get this straight. This is the guard shack right here, and you'll come around this way. And here's the boat ramp. This is coming over to some different trails and stuff. I have not been over here, but this is for a lot of bank fishermen and stuff. There's only one boat launch, and it's right here. There's 5 ramps, and it goes pretty good. So don't forget to make reservations. And anyway, I hope you've liked this little brief thing on Squaw Creek Reservoir, Comanche Creek Reservoir. For this is for kayak fishermen, and I'm going to bring many more Texas lakes as I fish them. I'm going to bring in the waypoints and record and bring kayak tips because I know fishing a kayak is different fishing a boat. We're limited as how much territory we can cover. So I'm going to, as I do different trips, I'm going to record landmarks and stuff and bring this and share this with other kayakers out there. So, but if you get a chance, get out here to Squaw Creek and try it out. In Texas, it's really nice. So, all right, this is stretch line bait and tackle. I want to remind you to always wear your PFD when you're out on the water. Stay safe. Pick up your trash. Pick up other people's trash and yak it out. All right, y'all have a great day. See you on the water.